Hey guys, this is Primeval. So today I'm not bringing you a multiplayer game. I feel like I'm coming down with a flu or something. I'm feeling a little under the weather anyways, so I don't think I'll have the stamina to play a full-on multiplayer game. So today I'm going to bring you a Deity Let's Play. This is Deity Challenge number 12 off of the Civ Fanatics forums. So basically, someone, I guess, makes a save. Maybe they design the map a certain way, and then they put up the save, turn 0 for everyone to play and comment on. So I'm going to go and give this an attempt. Here we are the Celts. The Celts, their unique ability is that if they start adjacent to, if their city is adjacent to a unimproved forest, they get or produce 1 faith per turn, and if that city is instead surrounded by 3 or more unimproved forests, they pump 2 faith per turn instead. They also have a Pictish warrior. The Pictish warrior is a spearman replacement. It has the same strength and cost as a spearman, but it earns faith when it kills enemies, and it also gets a combat bonus when outside of friendly territory. So that will be nice in terms of generating a little more faith and perhaps being a little stronger. One difference between the Pictish warrior and the spearman is that the Pictish warrior does not get the bonus versus mounted. Their other unique item is a unique building, the Seldith Hall. I probably said that very wrong, but anyways, it's a opera house replacement that also produces 3 happiness, which is pretty nice. So let's get started here. Okay, so we don't start beside 3 forests, just the 2 forests, but we start on a desert. Now, so this is really good, because on Deity it's really hard to found a religion, but if you can found a religion, the religion can be extremely powerful. Well, on any level, but that extra kick you can get from religion is very helpful in Deity if you manage to found one. And now, if we do go and found a religion, or a founder city here, we'll be producing 1 faith per turn right off the bat. And then, as a result, we should be able to found a Pantheon fairly early, if not first, since any other civilizations will be producing faith off of their unique buildings or shrines, but certainly not from turn 0. So we'll be able to, I hope, grab Desert Folklore, and then that'll just power us through getting us that first great prophet, possibly even being the first to found a religion. So we've moved around. This is a pretty nice spot. It's got 2 salt, and it's a hill right on a river. So this is a very strong starting location, and definitely a good way to start things off when playing on Deity. Let's get to work on a scout, and I'll also set us up for the production-focused trick. This could get us an extra hammer, at least with the first population growth. I think we'll want to go... Well, we do have salt, so let's go mining first. So salt is probably the best luxury resource in the game, because when you improve it, I think you get an extra hammer and an extra food. And even if that's not the case, it's a tile that gives you food and hammers, so that makes it pretty amazing. Anyways, on to turn 2, or turn 1 rather. Okay, so as far as a scouting pattern goes, I like to get the most movement out of my initial warrior, so that means using the second movement to cross any rivers, although here we have a chance to see a lot more by getting on top of this hill, so I'll do that. So that wasn't a bad choice necessarily. We could get on top of another hill here next turn. To another hill. Ooh, so we've got some runes here. So like I said, I am feeling a little under the weather, so I might only play one session here, which I think I'll try to keep the videos to a half-hour length. That's usually a nice digestible format. And let's see what we get here. Revealed a portion of the map that includes 2 runes. So that's pretty nice. If we go send our warrior, that's 1, 2, 3, or we could send the scout that we're training. I think we'll go straight for the runes here. They could be some really good stuff, or they could just reveal barbarian camps. Let's see how that goes. So like I said, I am feeling a little under the weather, so ooh, population. So hopefully I'll be able to provide a good commentary and also some nice play. I'm used to doing multiplayer and not Deity. I generally find multiplayer much more interesting than single player. Let's go get to work on a worker. Although we could get the monument, and that would help speed us through one of these trees. We'll probably go Liberty here. On Deity, you usually face a lot of early aggression from the other AIs, and you really need the extra production you would get off of extra cities to survive another rune, so that's definitely nice. Which does mean that I'll probably go Liberty here. I'm getting the worker first, since we do have the salt to improve. Although our culture borders won't expand to grab the salt unless we have a monument. So instead, maybe I will switch that up to grab the monument, and we'll hope to meet a city-state to steal a worker from, or maybe do enough, meet enough city-states or AIs that will buy embassies from us to go and buy ourselves a worker. And that worker will quickly pay for itself, not only because we'll improve tiles and get more production and food or gold in our city, but we'll be able to sell the luxuries that we improve to any AIs that we meet. Alright, 90 gold there, off to a good start. And we're about to find out what we're getting from this next set of runes. Right, so on Deity, all the AI players get huge advantages in terms of production bonuses and reduced upkeep costs and so forth. So they usually end up with a ridiculous amount of gold. Since the patch, or since Gods and Kings, the Deity AIs have gotten a little better at spending their gold, but they still will, at least most of them, have okay, we're the first to meet this city-state, so that's excellent. We're getting our pile of gold up quite nicely. So anyways, to negate all the advantages that the AIs are getting, you want to sell them whatever you can to relieve them of their gold, and use that gold to buy anything that'll get you ahead. So at the beginning, that's workers and settlers, and later on, or as appropriate, that might mean military units. So I'm not sure what direction I want to scout in here. Let's go. We'll send our scout off to the right and our warrior off to the left in sort of a circle back to our capital. Since there is the tundra and snow at the bottom here, it usually means we're at the bottom of the map. Oh yes, so let's go and check the settings. So it is standard speed, Deity, standard sized map with the full 8 players. It's a Pangea. And so Pangea means that we are at the bottom here since we're seeing all this snow. There's a barbarian camp. We did reveal barbarian camps. There are 2 of them here. And we are growing nicely here. We got the free population. And here's Ragusa. Let's go and... Well, unless we have a mission that we can complete for them, I won't go and pledge to protect them just yet, since I will want to maintain good relations with the other AI where possible, A, so we don't have to fight unnecessary wars, and also so that we can get the best prices out of them in terms of selling our luxury goods. Here I want to go and grab animal husbandry, since, well, horses are very unlikely to spawn on desert, if not, if that's even possible at all. But it would be good to know where the horses are in terms of settling our second city. Okay, so we can get on this hill. Ooh, some more runes. This is definitely a very nice start. When I'm playing on Deity, well, playing on any level, it's always nice to find runes, especially if they get you good things and not barbarian camp locations. Anyways, we've got 2 more runes that we should be able to grab next turn. I haven't met any other civs yet, so hopefully they aren't just hidden off the corner and ready to snatch these runes from us. It looks like we were the first to found a Pantheon here, so that's definitely excellent. We'll go and grab Desert Folklore, and that should really speed us along in terms of getting the first great profit. So now we're pumping 4 faith per turn on turn 10, and that's pretty tough to beat. Our next rune is a technology, archery. That's actually really good. It puts us on the path towards construction for the critical composite bowman, and it also sets us up to grab currency. Now, I don't play enough Deity to know when the Petra usually goes, but if we can get the Petra in Edinburgh, that'll be really good for us, since we've got at least 3 desert hills, and then what will be a desert mine once we put a mine on the salt there. Of course, the Petra doesn't improve the river tiles. Well, it does improve the river hill tiles, which is excellent, but it doesn't improve the flood plain tiles. Anyways, so going for the Petra is definitely an option there, and here we got ourselves a scout archer, and that's definitely nice. So on to turn 11. Let's see now. I do like to use up as much movement as I can. There's an encampment there, so going up that way might not be too fruitful. Okay, so we did reveal some more stuff, but we didn't actually get much farther than had we gone onto that hill and went to see what's in this area here. Anyways, we'll do that next turn. So moving our scout. So this will be a nice spot for a city. It's exactly 3 away from our capital, so that'll be make for some cheap trade routes. And another good reason to space cities really close together, especially when you're on Deity and you need to usually put on a good defense, is cities that are close to each other means you can get your reinforcing units to where you need them sooner, and also the range attacks can overlap, and that can be really critical, since the AI often doesn't really know what it's doing and will wander its units all around, perhaps send all its units for your capital rather than for a border city. So there are lots of opportunities there if you have for more damage than you would get against a human if you put your cities close together. Anyways, looks like we're really close to Persia here, which usually means we'll be in for an early war. So let's go and say hello. We can go and sell them an embassy for 25 gold. That's the standard rate, and it also means that it counts as a positive diplomatic modifier. So you definitely want to sell your embassies to the AI, which is not something you want to do. Ooh, another rune. When you're playing against people, because you don't want to give them more information, and also an embassy increases the tech stealing rate. Alright, so we just grew. We'll want to go and lock down the food tiles again. It's also great that it's a desert tile, so that pumps our faith per turn up to 5. So I think we definitely will want to forward settle on the Persians here. That might put them into a more aggressive stance. I'm not sure what sorts of behavior the AI responds to, but ooh, more population. This is fantastic. Choose production. We could get to work on a worker or on an archer. We Let's go for an archer here, and then hope that we maybe can steal a worker from Ragusa, or be able to sell or meet someone. We're also going to be able to unlock Liberty, and then after that grab citizenship for a free worker. So that might also be quite helpful. There's the Persian capital. There's a Persian worker. We won't be able to get away with stealing that, since it's on the wrong side of Persepolis. If it was on our side of their capital, maybe we could go for an early Dow and steal that worker. It would count as a major diplomatic penalty, though. A lot of the new civs we would meet would consider us warmonger, and that's bad because then they won't give us as much gold when we try to sell them our luxuries or other resources. So I do want to try to maintain good diplomacy with as many civs as possible, and that means denouncing civilizations before we declare war on them, and if possible getting them to declare war on us instead. So I really do want to steal a worker here, or buy one. I think so. Multiplayer games we generally play on quick speed, but on standard speed workers cost 310, so we'll need another 93 more gold. And there's some ancient runes here. Hopefully we'll be able to grab them, but we are really close to Persia, so they could have a scout in the area. That was not the case, however, and we got some culture out of that. So we didn't get the pop-up, but I was keeping my eye on those two values, and we can go and unlock Liberty. And then we'll get the free worker in 4 turns. So that was a really good rune for us. And here's a natural wonder, the Uluru. If we go settle a city back here, that will further boost our already ridiculous faith per turn. Alright, so the next tech we will want to go for here. We could go bronze working to get our unique units sooner, or we could head up towards construction via the wheel, or we could go for calendar. Since we do have the wine, I think we'll go for calendar here, especially since we know that we're going to get a worker in 4 turns, although we'll also want to work the salt first, since the salt will be a much better tile once improved. So we're working our way towards calendar here. We've met Persia, and we are scouting the map. We've met another city-state. Or we haven't met them yet, but we've found another city-state. Warsaw and Jerusalem, we've found their borders, but we haven't met them. We'll go and meet them next turn. Hopefully we'll be the first for the extra gold, but it's getting less likely now, especially since Persia's right here. Let's see if we are the first. We are the first. That's pretty nice, and we got some extra faith out of that as well. And here's another city-state, Tyre, or Tyre. And there's Warsaw. We were the first to meet them as well. So this is all going really nicely. We're also really close to buying a worker, although the one free worker off of citizenship might be enough. 2 workers would let us improve all of these tiles a lot faster, so we might go for that. The other option, of course, is to save up for the 500. We need to buy a settler, and that might be the better option. Okay, so we've got our warrior. If we can steal a worker from Warsaw, that'll definitely be nice. Let's go and meet Tyre. And we were not the first to meet them, so there's probably another AI just to the north, or anywhere around Tyre that we haven't scouted. So not only will I probably say a lot of these names incorrectly, but I'll also say them inconsistently incorrectly. So let's go and trade with Spain here. We can happily sell them an embassy, and that gets us that much closer to 500. At some point, we'll probably also want to trade the AIs for their embassies, but we definitely want the early gold first. Now, the reason we might want their embassies is if they're far away or we just never get access to their capital, then for the purposes of spying or planning a good invasion, we definitely want to know where their capitals are. Now, let's go and open up citizenship. So we've got our worker, and we're going to expand to the salt next turn, so that worked out absolutely perfectly. We don't have an escort for our worker, so it is a little risky just sending him out on his own, but I'm really eager to get this salt online as soon as possible. Let's see, we are about to finish the archer, so we don't need to bring the warrior back right away. Let's go see what's north of the forest, some more runes. We're getting pretty lucky with the runes here. There's a barbarian encampment, and here is either the Danish capital or one of their expansion cities. So on Deity, the reason that the AI is able to expand and shoot up and point so quickly, they start with a bunch of text, so that definitely helps their score, but they also start with a settler, so they can go and sell that second city pretty quickly. Barbarian encampments, ancient runes. Alright, next turn. So we have a chance to clear an encampment, but there are no city-state quests for that, and it's only the 25 gold. So we'll go and grab the ancient runes, just because they're potentially much more valuable. And we got trapping out of the deal, so this is excellent. I think we've gotten 2 free techs now, or maybe it's 3. Anyways, I'm certainly very pleased about that. And we're getting closer to the 500. We need to buy a settler. So we won't know how we're stacking up in terms of number of techs until we research writing. And since we're so close to Persia here, I think prioritizing units and cities is going to be more important than prioritizing libraries, since an early war is extremely likely. Now we can start chopping down that forest, and we expanded in the wrong direction. So if we buy that tile, it'll cost us 50, but we'll get to work the salt right away, and we'll also get the full yield from the chop. So I think I will go and waste the 50 gold there. I'd really rather not, but unfortunately we expanded towards the horses rather than the salt. We just discovered pottery. We've got calendar in 9 turns. I guess we'll go and also purchase a second. Do we want to go and purchase a worker here? Warsaw didn't have a worker. We don't have anyone over by Ragusa, so by the time we send someone out and then grab a worker and bring it back, that'll be quite a large number of turns. Good 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 9 turns. So I think we will go and buy ourselves a second worker here, because we can go and improve. Well, we can go build some farms, but it'll be 9 turns until we can actually improve the wine. Alright, scratch that. We'll keep saving for the settler. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Hopefully you're enjoying my thought process as I think out loud and change my mind as I go. It's probably more annoying to those of you with firm opinions, so those of you who really love the Deity games. But hopefully the thought process is insightful for those of you who are newer to the game or trying to figure out how to beat the game on Deity. And it's really bizarre that this barbarian camp has been empty for 2 turns. I'll just clear it now, even though we're not fulfilling any city-state quests, but it does get us a bunch of gold. So there, 25 gold. Can't say no to that. And I guess we'll take our warrior on a circuit past Ragusa and maybe steal a worker if there happens to be one then. So here's another city-state. Sydney, we were not the first to meet them. That's fine. In terms of the tiles we're working, we should actually be working the salt, since it gets us the hammer and the same number of food as the wine. I would happily trade 2 gold per turn for 1 hammer per turn at this stage in the game. We'll also go and send our archer out to, some more runes, to see what's in that fogged area. So hopefully we'll be the first to, we'll be able to grab those runes, and that there's not an AI scout hanging out somewhere over here. Okay, so Spain's making a beeline for these runes, and they could actually get there first because we can't ignore rough terrain. No, we'll get there first. That's excellent. And some more salt, some mountains. Let's see what's going on down here. Now we're growing in 12 turns. Once we hit 5 pop, I might not worry quite so much about working all the high food tiles and work these horses instead for a little extra production. So the Spanish scout nearly beat us to these runes. It was 100 gold, and that puts us into range of buying a settler next turn. So we'll go and scout around up here. I think, I don't know if I want to plant my very first expansion city right towards the Persians, or if I want to play friendly with them for a little while longer and instead settle towards the Uluru. Now, I'm not sure if this is the case, but maybe it's just me giving the AI more credit than it deserves, but I feel like if you make aggressive moves towards the AI early on, you can actually switch them into a more aggressive stance. So I'm a little hesitant to forward settle on them just now. I'm probably giving them more credit than they deserve, and they're not actually that smart or interactive. But I think I will settle to the west before I forward settle on the Persians. Alright, so I think we'll play a couple more turns before pausing this session, and maybe I'll make myself a tea. But we just finished an archer. We don't need a shrine. We've got a lot of good gold per turn going. We could build ourselves a worker, but let's see what our chances are in terms of stealing a worker from Ragusa first. Now we didn't get any more vision on Ragusa there. Let's go and take out this guy and choose production. If we are worried about an early war, I probably want the archer over the worker, since we'd only be getting a little more food, and that wouldn't speed up our growth too much now that we're at 4 citizens and we need 44 food before we get to the next citizen. So let's go and purchase that settler now, and we'll start walking it over towards the Uluru, just so as not to alarm the Persians. So maybe I'm being a little paranoid there, maybe reading a little too much multiplayer psychology into the AI, but yeah, I think we won't do the aggressive settling right off the bat. Alright, people with the pointiest sticks, we are the weakest here. That's standard for Deity. So I guess when you first start playing Deity and you're used to playing on the easier levels, it can be quite discouraging to always find yourself at the bottom of all the demographics, or on the bottom of the score chart. But really, you don't really need to worry about that. The AI has no idea what's going on, so even though they're outstripping you on every category, you will eventually be able to pull ahead. So usually that's when you get, even though they might have a huge tech lead, once you get flight and some bombers online, you can really turn the game around. Anyways, where we want to settle our next city, we'll definitely want to settle on a hill. On Deity, since your neighbors will usually get pretty aggressive with you, you really want to get that extra combat bonus from settling on a hill. And also, like I was saying, I like to pack my cities together as close together as possible. That would mean settling on this hill, but the Uluru is actually a natural wonder that counts as a mountain. So if we settle beside that, we'll be able to build an observatory later on, which will be nice, assuming we stabilize and have a nice thing going and don't need to be constantly churning out military units. Getting a little science boost, a 50% science boost, in fact, will be quite helpful. So let's go and take a look at Ragusa. They do not have their worker out yet, and they haven't improved the furs. Okay, so here we're at turn 25, and I think we'll stop the video here. I'll take a little break, and I'll see you again in part 2. Well, first, okay, the mine is 2 turns away from completing. Basically, if it was 1 turn away, then I could manually complete it now rather than have it auto-complete at the end of turn, and I'd get the salt a turn early, and thus be able to sell it to the AI a turn early, and be able to renew the deal a turn early. And that extra turn, having all that gold a turn sooner, can sometimes make a difference. And while I will forget a lot of these micro-type tactics, while I remember, every little advantage can definitely help in terms of either decreasing the turn time until victory, or just pulling out every advantage you can get against all of these deity opponents. Anyways, Primeval ending episode 1.